Alright, welcome back everyone. It is LaughNgamez here, and it is time for another Starcraft 2 Pro Replay cast. Today we have got the map Simulacrum, and the two players playing on such a map are two of my favorites, two of the best and most consistent Starcraft 2 players. In the top left we have Trap, playing Protoss. For those of you that don't know Trap, he is basically one of the best Protoss players that's out there at the minute. He's incredibly consistent. I think Trap on a good day can really beat anyone. I don't think he's quite reached his final form yet, but he's someone who will go far in tournaments, and he's a monster Protoss, basically. Now, this guy in the bottom right-hand side of the map, it's the Zerg Solar, playing for Triumphant Sun Gaming. Solar is probably the most underrated Zerg player for his skill. He has won big tournaments in the past, but it still seems that people really sleep on him to win events. I feel like that's because sometimes he'll drop series or lose maps to, say, anyone, but he's also just really, really good. So Trap versus Solar is a dream. I know these guys play each other a lot, and I'm excited to cast it again. So far, this Zerg versus Protoss is pretty normal. Trap moves out with a probe just to be a pain and block the third base of Solar. Knowing that Solar would want to take a very quick third, Solar says, fine, I guess I'll go take another base, or I'll make 2 queens before I take that base. Because Zerg does have options as far as opening up goes. If we do take a look at this matchup a little bit, I'm quite excited to cast it also, based on the fact that it is a ZVP, or a PvZ, whatever way you look at it, and it's been a while since I cast a good PvZ. Like, I feel like I cast a lot of TvZ on the channel, and I do honestly love my TvZ. I love every StarCraft 2 matchup, though, even the mirror matchups. I feel like I should cast like another couple mirror matchups on this channel, as it's been quite a while since I've done that. However, I usually cast them as they come. If I see like a match that really catches my eye, I'll be like, ooh, I want to watch that. And yeah, we'll keep an eye out for some different games. Stargate is on the way here for Trap. Very standard PvZ opening. I mean, 9 times out of 10 you could probably describe with your eyes closed what a Protoss is doing, as there isn't too much variation unless you go for like an extreme cannon rush or something like that. The Stargate just gives you so much power because the air units, they can't be shut down by Zerglings out on the map, and so that gives you basically control to scout, control to defend your third base with the oracles and whatnot. And that's the reason why the Stargate's really powerful, basically because it can fly over without fear of getting picked off. You can't move out on the map with, say, scouting adepts that long, or stalkers or whatever else. So that kind of changes things, or makes the Protoss want to go into a Stargate. A poor probe gets picked off there, meets its demise. Then we take a look here. A third base is on the way for Solar, just about to get up before the 4-minute mark. Good for the Protoss, or good for the Zerg, pardon me. Trap just getting up a couple gateways behind this. Everything normal. We'll see if he takes a third or throws down some other tech. Usually it's the third base. The Oracle going to be moving on out. Wants to give high ground vision to the Stalker to pick off this Overlord, maybe? Although Trap can just wait for the Phoenix to do so without risking moving the Stalker out on the map. Alright, let's take a look here. We're going to be ambitious for these ones, but I know you guys have really been enjoying the pro games lately, like blowing it out of the water with how many of you have been watching and liking and commenting. So let's try and hit a worker amount of likes for this video. So let's try and hit 42 likes, and Solar has 42 drones, around the magic number of when a Zerg throws down the Roach Warren, such as Solar is doing now. As if you ever want to play Zerg, that's one of the things to remember. Zergs usually get their Roach Warren to safely macro up around the 40 drone mark. Solar does lose a fair few drones there to those oracles. If we take a look, that one's racked up 6 kills, this one's racked up 2, so 8 drone kills is no small amount. Like, really slowing down Solar. He was firing up some roaches, and he's actually planning on moving across the map with his queens, but Trap getting those drones is going to have severely shut down the push here of the Zerg, reducing his capacity to go for a push like this. We see Lings are attacking on the front, facing off against these Adepts, but there's not enough Lings to win that fight. There are Roaches and Ravagers crossing the map. The third base is kind of just going to be there to buy some time. Solar does get this shield battery, which is a nice pickoff. A really nice pickoff, as a matter of fact. For now, Trap basically just needs to be panicking, trying to get ready to defend versus this attack, which is coming his way. The March of the Queens, the Roaches, the Ravagers. This is similar to the push that we see Alpha Star do sometime. Now, Trap is going to try and handle the first wave of units just without retreating too much, because if you retreat right away, the Ravagers will just corrosive file down your wall. You lose basically before you can even really start the defense. You got to be trying to trade out with the Zerg, so the attack will eventually wear thin. Trap's going to lose his Cyber Core. I wouldn't be surprised if he loses these 2 gateways, but he has bought enough time to get out 1 Immortal. Immortals are the big damage dealer to help chip away at the Zerg force. With the shield batteries, they do really great. So we're going to see this Immortal move on in, start getting shots off as much as possible. Another Immortal is being chrono boosted out. Double Immortal production for Trap. If he can get up to, say, 3 Immortals, he'll be sitting pretty. He has to rebuild his Cyber Core in his main base while this is going on. And then we'll take a look. Solar is trying to make something happen here. He committed a lot to this attack, but if he doesn't, it's not the end of the world. Good force fields for Trap. Catch a Ravager, catch a couple of Roaches and some Lings. So that's a good move for Trap there. But as we do see, since Solar is transitioning out of this attack, he's up to 62 drones, but he doesn't have the army to keep on pushing, so he's going to take everybody home. The Oracles are going to try and get some counter damage done for Trap, and every drone that they get is quite important as it slows down Solar's transition, so that is important. Trap behind this is only on 2 bases, so we'll see if he just goes for a third despite losing his previously. So this isn't a great time for the Protoss just to be rebuilding his third. It's also notable that Trap had to wait for his Cyber Core to finish before he could get up his Twilight Council. Since his Cyber Core was picked off, that means it's going to be a late charge. If he's going to get up a Charge or a Templar Archives, anything like that. These 2 Oracles identify the hatchery is going to be vulnerable, so Trap might be able to get that. It's going to be close. He does force the cancel. A great move from Trap, really squeezing all the mileage he can out of these Oracles. Trap might still want to try and get something done, though, as he did take a lot of damage back at home just in the fact that his third base was killed. But he does realize that he can't really move out. Trap's a very mature player, so he's not just going to go for an attack that is destined to fail. So he realizes, alright, the best way to play this game out is to sit back in macro, even if it's a little uncomfortable, because the Zerg is already up to 75 drones and my third's not yet online. Templar are getting warped in for Trap, probably for Archons. I would not mind Psystorm in this position, though. Oracles also coming in, gonna grab themselves some more drones. That's like 4 or 5 more drones. Oh, amazing, amazing Oracle play here from Trap. One of the Oracles is quite injured. It is going to escape, though. As a matter of fact, that Queen in the main, if she didn't inject, maybe could have taken that out. 10 kills on this one Oracle, 15 on another. These Oracles really are what is giving Trap in the legs. We might have had a runaway Zerg if Trap hadn't got so much damage done with these Oracles, really keeping Solar modest here. That being said, though, I still think the Zerg is looking pretty scary right now. We see Solar maybe preparing for an attack. He just made a suspicious amount of Banelings, 25 Banelings. He's got a good number of Ravagers and Lings. This is the kind of army you want to be trading with as the Zerg. So if Solar goes in for attack, I wouldn't be surprised. We see the Ravagers moving across the map. Solar's creep spread is also getting very, very far. We saw a bunch of banelings morphing at the south that got caught by Trap. So Trap being extra vigilant here to spot this. However, Solar is still looking pretty scary. We see a Spire on the way, an Infestation Pit on the way. That could lead to Swarm Host or Mutas. Either way, great tech choices for the Zerg. Fourth base absolutely canceled for Trap. Trap's army is looking pretty strong. He's also going to catch these couple of Queens, which is nice for him. Every unit matters, but we may just have to see Trap go for a big all-in. He will try and retake his fourth base, though. Banelings are going to roll into this location. Those Templar want to morph into Archons. They don't manage to. The Banelings are going to crash into these pylons. A couple of them still remain chasing the probes. A decent number of probes get picked off. Trap has his fourth base canceled once again. A great 1-2 punch from Solar. Trap, I mean, he had the pylons to wall that off to defend against the Banes, but Solar, with his +1 melee, just crashed through that wall with his Banelings. Trap is moving out on the map, gonna try and force a fight, but I don't know if he can take one. He doesn't have Psystorm yet, he doesn't have +1 yet. Even if he does have Psystorm, where are the High Templar? He lost those guys he had building up energy. Now he's got some more that he can put in this Prism. But Solar is looking pretty scary in this spot right now. The Zerg has been on a 4-base economy for quite a while. A 5th base even on the way. Trap feels like he wants to push, but he's pretty confident that he can't. So he is just playing the defensive game, but Solar is constantly getting damage done. He's going to move on in. He's hitting the 3rd base again with more Banelings. I'm not sure where the probes went. They ran away to the natural, so they stayed alive. But the 4th base constantly being pressured. There's also Corruptors, a greater Spire on the way, so Solar wants to get Broodlords to be his checkmate move against Trap. So this is probably going to point towards Trap having to take a fight quite soon, as if you just sit back against a Zerg getting Broodlords, you will just lose the game as Trap. You have to be the one out on the map if you're going to eventually win out against a Zerg who has Broodlords, because if Solar gets on Trap's doorstep and he morphs some Broodlords, it is just lights out for Trap. Not up for negotiation. You die as the Protoss. You have to be out on the map hitting the Zerg bases if you want to take out Broodlords without a direct counter to them. Lings hitting the 4th base will get cleaned up. The 3rd base isn't being pressured at all at the minute. So Trap, while his economy is kind of just puttering along, he is keeping it safe for now. Adrenal Glands is on the way for Solar. The Greater Spire is just about done. Trap, I'm getting really worried that Solar's just going to move across the map with a couple of Broodlords and end the game. Looks like the Broodlords are morphing, not aggressively though, so this could give Trap time to identify that this is coming and to make an attack to try and pull Solar out of position. If Solar was like right here and he morphed them, that would have absolutely forced Trap's hand. He's playing it a little bit more passive though, keeping the Broodlords behind. Trap though does know that it's time to go. A Psystorm goes down, catches a good chunk of the Banelings. The Archon's also very effective against this Ling Bane composition. However, if we do take a look, those Broodlords are done. They want to join up with the fight. Zealots are hitting the 3rd base of Solar. A good move for Trap. The Roaches and Ravagers, some of them are being caught. But as we take a look, the Broodlords are enough to force the Protoss army away. Trap's having to go north just to avoid them. He's got some more Archons done, but it's going to be a tough spot for Trap, I feel, to win this game. He's got a decent army, but not a good decent army against Broodlords. I mean, he can always try and Psystorm this army, but I mean, he's getting an alright hit there on some of the Lings and Banes, but yeah, this is just looking quite dominant here for Solar. Psystorm going down on the Broodlords. A cute move for Trap to hit these Broodlords, but I'm kind of getting concerned here. I mean, another Psystorm goes down on the Broodlords. That's one way to do it. Unloads the High Templar, Psystorms the Broodlords, but Solar brings some Queens for it to transfuse these. All of Trap's hard Psystorm undone. It looks like Trap is going to try and surround this army. This is a pretty good concave for Trap. His Stalkers are going to be vulnerable. The Banelings rolling straight towards them, not hitting just the Archons, so this is going to make it tough for Trap to actually deal with these Broods. If those Stalkers weren't pushed back so far forward, I'd say Trap could have maybe done it, but no, his army has kind of been divided and conquered here from Solar. Trap is going to start focusing down some of these Broods with his Stalkers. We'll see what he's able to get. I mean, the Stalkers are quite alone, but there's already a lot of Broodlings on the ground. Trap is just trying to buy time with his Immortals and Archons on the top, but Solar just playing the game right, just showing us how to play a dominant ZVP so far, it would seem. I mean, he got to the Broodlords, he played a defensive enough game that Trap didn't get quite enough done. Trap was just contained on 2 bases too long, and he's still reeling from that initial attack that Solar did. He's not been on a great economy this entire game because of it. Trap is still gonna go for a fight. He's just using the guerrilla tactics just to hit everywhere, in which Solar hopefully can't shut down all the attacks. So we see some Zealots gonna be moving towards this location here. I mean, the Lings will deal with that. Zealots hitting the 3rd base, though, getting some good damage once again. That 3rd base being hit, as it has been before. DTs are being warped in for Trap to try and hit these locations. There is a Spore at this 5th base for Solar. However, I mean, is every base covered? Looks like there's a Spore at pretty much every base for the Zerg. Solar even left an Overseer at his 3rd base, so a very smart move to go for that. The DTs are going to come in, they're going to kill the Spore, but with the Overseer in the sky, Trap's not going to get anything done. He can probably save these DTs with the Prism if he's paying attention, and he is. Trap very good at moves like this. The DTs hitting the 5th base of Solar. We'll see if they're able to focus it down, but Banelings are coming in. They can detonate to kill the DTs if they so choose. 1 DT remains, but it's not going to be quick enough to kill this hatchery, although maybe the army of Solar pulling towards the front, this DT could actually get this hatchery. I think it will. So Trap going to get a nice blow against Solar there, but once again, the Broodlords are still just the problem for Trap. He's running away with his Stalkers once more. It seems that Solar just has a massive amount of Broodlings on the ground at all times. And Trap is just struggling to rebuild his army from that initial fight that he lost. He's going to lose his 5th base attempt, and you really want a 5th base when you're 17 minutes into the game. Banelings hit the 4th base of Trap. The High Templar are looking for some good Psystorms on the Zerg army once more. Trap has the Prism in the main base of the Zerg still. Psystorm is going down on those Broodlords once more. Trap picking up, unloading, hitting those Broodlords with the High Templar. Stalker's cleaning up a bit of creep. I mean, Trap's doing a good job staying alive. DT's once again going to hit this 5th base, and it looks like it will be a guaranteed cancel. The Prism that unloaded them is now moving across the map. Trap going to catch himself a couple of the Queens. I mean, army supply. Trap is only behind 20. He's catching one of these Queens here. A Void Ray is on the way for Trap. I don't know how much one Void Ray is going to help, seeing as how Solar is making more Corruptors, though. But you really do got to give it to Trap based on the fact that he's been hitting everywhere. He's knocked Solar down to 4 bases. Trap himself is securing a 5th base, just like Solar. So both players actually on not the best economies. Trap, he's really making a game out of this. If we take a look, I mean, he's built up a good army, lots of Stalkers. He's got the Psystorm. If he can hit good Psystorms on the Banelings, there's a chance he can take down this army. However, Trap does have to be very careful moving on to creep versus this force. I mean, the creep's getting cleaned on up, but Trap, if he just eats a bunch of Banelings, that will simply end the game here. Viper is on the way, or multiple Vipers on the way for Solar. A cool move, Blinding Cloud, very strong, aids the Broodlords. Zergling's going to hit the 5th base of Trap. There's nothing really in position to defend that, unfortunately. A couple of Stalkers warp in, but I don't think they're going to be able to save that base in time. It looks like it was cancelled. Solar still playing quite defensive here as he lost his 5th base. His 3rd base was constantly harassed. This has kept him on the back foot and given Trap a lot of room to breathe. But man, Trap apparently decides that this is the time to take the fight. He lands one good Psystorm there on the Broodlords, but he's got to be careful with that Prism. He cannot afford to lose a Prism full of High Templar. Trap doing a good job juggling those High Templar in the Prism, keeping them alive. He's pretty much maxed out just like Solar. So this is actually a very nuts game. Solar, he's secured up his 5th base, though, so he is mining much better than he was previously. Trap making more and more, or Solar making more and more Banelings to keep his army extra lethal. These Zealots are going to run in with those Banelings finishing. I don't think they're going to get too much done. Trap is looking to push on in. He's done a really good job making it so Solar can't move out due to the slowness of the Broodlords, but I don't know if that means he's allowed to push on in. Like, I think it's good that he keeps pressure on Solar by feigning attacks in different locations, but oh man, if Trap takes one bad fight here, and oh, he's kind of being chased away. His army has been sectioned off. Archon's eating lots of Baneling hits there. Psystorm goes down, the Templar gets saved in the Prism. A great move from Trap, but I don't know if this is the fight he wants to take. He's got Stalkers in the south. They blink underneath the army of Solar. Trap is pushing towards Solar. I mean, he's just got to fire up as many units as he can. Hope the Broodlords live long enough. Psystorm going down, even on Trap's own army there. The Broodlords are fighting the Stalkers. It's close to see who's going to win. It's just handfuls of units. However, there is a lot of chaos on the ground in the form of those Banelings and the Broodlings, and it looks like Solar does take the game there. Trap made that a very close game, but in the end, Solar won out. I mean, Solar, he did a good job just defending against Trap. Trap did so much work to try and pull the Zerg to pieces, but Solar just barely kept it together, I feel like. If he had got one more base snipe, or if Trap necessarily didn't take that fight, maybe Trap could have kept that game going. But either way, ladies and gentlemen, I think the like goal for this video was 42, so let's try and smash that for this awesome ZVP. If you enjoy this kind of StarCraft 2 content and you're not subscribed, I implore you to. If you want to join the Discord and hang out, hop on in. And then thanks to those of you that do support the channel via the YouTube memberships. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.